the house is still a little bit more higher. You know, then it does this quick little dip down, so we just need to.
Yeah.
I think that insurance went for about $10 or $12. I pay it once a year. And I think it was 10. I looked and said, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
But see,
Kathy.
they get water in the street. It doesn't flood the street, but it doesn't get over the sidewalk or
Right.
into the driveway.
Yeah.
But if you walk behind them and go back, maybe not quite a quarter of a mile, then you can see flooding onto the,
Houses.
yeah, I don't know if those
Because
houses
even
actually
1
flood.
inch of water repeatedly destroys the home.
Oh, yeah, because it just
And
takes it away.
takes
Takes
away the foundation.
Recording in progress.
Oops, okay. Oh, is it 10? I'm going to say 10:30. Oh, 4:30. All righty. Let's call the meeting to order. Any comment, public comment? John McCall. Yeah, you guys don't have to write in. We know who you are.
We're regulars.
Regulars.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on the September 14th meeting, letter that we sent to Mr. Palin regarding 3 items. One was the progress of the CARES Act project, for which we thought 300 of the first 300 qualified subscribers within 5-mile radius of the courthouse. And we asked the Board of Supervisors to request that the LCBA publish on the website updates, because I guess the last thing we saw in the paper was everybody's supposed to have service by the end of December. It's the most recent thing. I'm not sure that December's reasonable anymore, December 2021.
21st, yeah.
So I don't know what the latest projections are. So I think, well, we'll summarize at the end. Second issue is the geographic areas that Lancaster County is going to be included in the APB Fiber to the Home project. We asked the Board of Supervisors to request that the LCBA publish a map that's legible and readable so that citizens in Lancaster County can determine if they're going to be included in part of that project. Third thing is, we asked the Board of Supervisors to request that the LCBA publish on the website the operational status of each of the smart poles so that the Lancaster citizens can know which poles are functioning before they venture out to try to get service. This letter was also sent to Cassie, and it's not, we didn't want to blindside the LCBA. In fact, all these items that we brought up are things we've already discussed with you guys. We do appreciate that the LCBA prepared a response to Mr. Palin's letter, and he shared that with us. The response to the first 2 items continues to recommend that citizens contact the vendors directly. We've gone that route and we have not had a lot of success. And it's our hope that someone from Lancaster County is acting as the contract administrator or a project manager representing the expenditures of Lancaster County. We're just trying to determine the path for escalating issues when we're not getting responses back when we go the route of contacting the vendors. So we're asking that somewhere along the way, we're provided with a contact information for who that person is within Lancaster County to escalate issues to, because we're not having a whole lot of success. None of us have gotten responses back from APB. So we just need to figure out the route to.
In response to APB, you have to go to their website, and they have a thing for you to log on to say whether you're included in the project or not. You also can look at the Vati Proposals that are online, and you can look at the information that they have published.
Well, the Vati proposals are on, they're just the ones that are, I didn't think APB was doing that Vati.
Vati 2022, all of the proposals are listed for challenges. It doesn't mean it's going to go through, but APB has done one for multiple counties in Lancaster, not multiple counties in the Northern Neck, and it was put in by the Northern Neck PDC,
Northern Neck
Planning
Planning
District Commission.
District Commission.
Yeah.
And how do you, how do you get to that
Go to the Vati website.
Vati website?
And it's up on their 20, yeah, it's 2022
2022.
proposals, and they're all up on there. Yeah, so they even have shape files if you want to download those.
So, Mr. McCullough,
Yes, sure.
what Dr. Silverman said regarding APB's website and the form that you can complete, and it will tell you whether it's within its footprint or not, can also be found on the Lancaster County Broadband Authority website when you go to projects and click on APB, and there is a link to their form. If you complete it, according to APB, they can tell you whether you are within the footprint that's part of both their RDOF and the proposed Vati 2022.
Well, unless that's new, when I submitted the thing through the APB website, all it says is your application has been received. I didn't get any feedback whether you were included or not. They just said that they acknowledged the receipt of the form
When did you submit that?
when we first started talking about this. So it's probably been 4 months ago.
Because they've just been doing their work, looking, walking through the county and, identifying all the served, unserved areas, so forth. That was complete. Correct me, Nicholas, but I think that was just completed a few weeks ago. I might be off by a bit.
Yes, it is. And I think there's a little bit of hesitancy on both Atlantic Broadband and All Points Broadband in definitively declaring, because as they're gathering this data, Atlantic Broadband might be building out somewhere where when they did the walks that All Points Broadband built out and vice versa. So I guess the key takeaway here is that everybody is going to be served, and that's kind of what we focus on as part of the project management of both Atlantic Broadband and All Points Broadband, is to ensure that no one gets left, in the cracks. So somehow everybody's going to be served. Hopefully, some people will be fortunate enough to have a choice of carriers. Hopefully by soon, or I wouldn't say soon, but in the near future, every resident will have a choice of carriers, but at least they'll have a choice of one, and possibly some may have the luxury of having a choice of two.
So is that to say that even people who are currently served by Atlantic Broadband are going to be eligible to the fiber to the home, or?
No, because Atlantic Broadband is part of their of the Vati grant that's currently in progress, is to serve upgrade their networks to meet the minimum guidelines and extend the networks to certain areas. And Atlantic Broadband, All Points Broadband under the RDOF grant is doing the other areas that are unserved. So by the end of these two projects, every resident should have or will have broadband service.
Okay, so yeah, all right.
Access to, because
Right,
they may not
right.
take it.
Access, yeah. The ability to get it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess the takeaway that we have is if a lot of this stuff was included on the LCBA website, a lot of the questions would be answered. I wasn't aware that the APB had updated the information. Again, so I guess from what I'm hearing from this, we need to go in and apply for service again, because we got no feedback from the original form that we submitted.
Yeah, usually the way the form, when I did it, it says you are served.
Oh, it
Or
does?
you will be served.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna try that now.
I'm not finding anything on their website at the moment, but as I said, I did the same thing when it was originally announced that was going to take place. And I got a thing basically saying, acknowledgement that you sent a request in and correct consent. There's no, you go back, there's no login information, no nothing. There's no way for us to follow up.
Oh, okay. It may have been, you may have signed up early for it, and that was,
Well, we'll
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
check it out.
In the last month, we've made inquiries directly to their website and have got no response. We've asked for a response. The other concern we have, Nicholas, is that recently Northumberland reported that they had 900 customers that would not be served by All Points. So we're trying to avoid that situation in Lancaster County.
correct. Yeah.
And we need to be assured that we're doing that, because Northumberland thought they were covered, and they weren't.
Madam Chair, I don't believe that the individuals in the audience can be heard by the recording in the room.
Oh, you need to be at the mic.
Yeah.
You're probably not being heard.
Chuck, you want me to?
Ah.
you wanna stay?
Thanks, Sheree.
Thank you,
Chuck's,
Shirley.
yeah, Chuck Rusnick was making the comment that there was an article that said 900 customers in Northumberland County found out that they were not going to be served by All Points Broadband when they, in the past, were under the same impression that Nicholas articulated for Lancaster, that they thought they were going to be served. So we just are trying to make sure that we don't find out that we're in the same boat 2 months down the road.
And all I can say is the final work has not been done, but our understanding right now is, and our goal is to make sure everybody's served. Whether it's APB or Atlantic Broadband.
And as we've discussed in the past, our concern is there's certain of the data that you go look at that says our homes are served. We are not, in our minds, we are not served. But so I just want to make sure that whatever data APB is using doesn't exclude us from
Are you
being,
served in here?
do what?
Are you served in here, blue or green? Are you served? Mary Point's covered,
Okay.
okay?
How about Iberis and,
That's Mary Point.
okay, so that whole area?
Peninsula, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm certainly going to go back to their website and try to submit a
Download their
request.
proposal, you'll get more granular stuff, and if you take the shape files down, you'll actually get to your house.
Okay. Through the Vati 2020?
The Valley
2022?
2022
proposals.
Okay, not through the APB website.
Exactly.
Okay.
But the APB is what they need, so they get you registered to sign up. That's how they're doing the sign
Okay.
up.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. And we still got a
I
question
think
about-
once again, it's the Vati, it's a proposal, right? So it's not in concrete yet, so,
Okay.
yeah,
But
so,
there's also RDOF.
what's that?
Yeah.
I said there's also RDOF.
Yes.
Yeah. There's
The
multiple
Valley
ways
is
that
just
would,
extra.
yeah.
According to their RDOF filing, which can also be reviewed on the Lancaster County Broadband Authority website, you will see all the census blocks listed that pertain to Lancaster. And then you can use the federal government's mapping system to track those census block groups to see if you relate to it. But our understanding, the easiest way for an individual resident to assess whether APB would be covering them was to complete their survey questionnaire at the link.
Okay, we'll certainly do that and see, hopefully we get better response than we got earlier. Okay, how about the CARES Act? How do people find out if they're going to be covered under CARES?
Nicholas?
Under
Of
the
the CARES.
fixed wireless program,
Yes.
then it would have to be really a direct contact with BTS.
Okay. Well, that's where we probably need, again, we're asking for some liaison within the
Yes.
county to interpret that
And,
contract.
and, you know, we understand your frustration, we share it, when we're trying to manage that project as best we could to move that ball forward. And, we'll kind of, when I do my update, you'll get a little bit more, insight into, you know, what's going on there.
Okay.
But we hear you, we understand you,
It's
and
frustrating.
we get it, the frustration.
Thank you.
Right. All right, no public comment from your end, Glenn? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to minutes. Michelle?
Yes. A little while ago, I submitted the final
September 8th.
September 8th meeting minutes, and, which I circulated earlier, which only Cherie had provided just some edits to, and so I made those changes and circulated it. I have a printed copy if you didn't have a chance to look at it, but it does incorporate those changes she circulated to everybody earlier. And if there aren't any questions, does anybody have any questions on that?
No, I move to accept the minutes.
I second it. All right, all in favor? Aye, aye.
Aye.
Three.
Aye.
All right.
You may want to hold your vote so you can vote when you really want to. Sherry, we had enough to pass it.
Well, I can vote at 2 meetings. I've
Right.
voted at 1 remotely.
Okay.
This will be my second meeting
Okay,
where
that's
I'm
fine.
trying to vote because I'll be live and in person for November and December.
Oh, could be standing room only.
Put that in the minutes.
I was just trying to protect the voting. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Cherie. Thanks, Michelle. Okay, next. All right, Nicholas, the floor is yours for Vati, BTS, and APB.
Okay, well, we'll start off with BTS, and they're having problems with their CBRS license provider, and they're in the process of switching it. So from last week to this week, we've had no new installs, and they're trying to hold off. They didn't want to do any installs until they switch the CBRS provider, and that's the reason why the customers have been experiencing, according to BTS, been experiencing intermittent outages. So they want to kind of clear that up before they start adding more customers to that network. So as of last week, 74 installs have been completed and in service. So hopefully, once this the provider of their CBRS license gets resolved or changed out, they'll have a more stable system and be able to turn up customers on a faster basis. We have been on, Gary and I have been working with them to try to say, we need a plan to get installs done faster and to, have better customer service. So hopefully they'll be able to accommodate that and moving forward. So that's kind of working with them. Like I said, I understand where the customers are coming from, the frustrations all around, and we're just trying to move this along as best as we can, get as many people signed up as fast as possible for broadband service. Not just signed up, but I mean, get them service. The smart poles, we continue to have one smart pole location, which is out of service, and that's at Thomas's Landing right now, and it just seems to be in a bad spot, not receive a wireless signal from any of the carriers. Originally, there was a Verizon signal there, then they changed their network, and now Verizon wasn't available there, so we went to AT&T, they went to T-Mobile, and there's no way right now of getting signal there, or even with the fixed wireless from the courthouse tower. So we have to try to come up with a solution for Thomas Landing, but all the other sites now are up and running. So that's my update on BTS. Atlantic Broadband, the Vati update. As of the last call, we had the last planning meeting on Tuesday, and the project is for all 4 counties is on schedule. Lancaster County's network design is scheduled for an October 28th completion, which is on schedule. There are currently no material procurement delays expected, so that's a good thing because they're anticipating construction in Lancaster County to start in Q1 of 2022. So right now, the Atlantic Broadband project is on schedule, and it doesn't seem to be any milestones that we should be concerned of being missed. All Points Broadband. Now, All Points Broadband submitted. There's a 2022 Vati application was submitted. There are little differences from what they originally proposed to us. Some good, some bad. Some, I think it's just kind of washes out to be the same. Looking at it from different angles. Some examples of that is the $100 install for up to $1,000. While the install fee on the new application is $199, the difference is that the original $100 was for up to 1,000 feet, and the new install fee covers any length of driveway, which is in areas like Lancaster County, it's probably more beneficial to have that fixed rate, although higher, but it's not dependent on the length of the service drop. So some services, the 100 megabit service was increased from $79.99 to $99.99. However, the gigabit service was reduced from $149 to $149 from $159. So there's some puts and takes and from changes from the RDOF application to the Vati application. But overall, it's going to be overall, it's going to, I think, it'll be better for the citizens of Lancaster County.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the, Gary, did you have any? Because I know Gary's been working, especially with BTS and going out in the field, taking empirical measurements. So just wanted to see if Gary has any additional comments.
Yeah. The one thing is we all should get the number 2,231 That is the All Points broadband number that's in the proposal that they are going to cover. We are trying to confirm, we are looking forward to talking to Bill Newborg to confirm that he is essentially picking up the other points. And I think what it has happened behind the scene, well, I think we're going back to the original Vati proposal versus minus the RDOF sections, except for one area, which would be out in Fleets Bay. So in other words, APB still has in the proposal, and you can, I'll project this eventually.
I saw it.
Oh, okay. So, and you can see that's essentially the only thing that APB has left in the county, on the eastern part of the county, sorry. So, really, that's about it. The other thing, we are trying to write up the smart pole report. I think Nick did say, and I'll just confirm it, by the end of this year, they want to hook all their smart poles up to fixed wireless, which decreases the cost of the county by 50% versus the SIM card method anyway. And there's just been, I think you guys even at, had problems with AT&T SIM cards this past summer, or whenever you tried to hook up everything. And that's what they're running into. The service is just not great from the cellular sat towers, which means unless you're under them, like here at the county tower, which works fine, the Boys and Girls Club works terrific, and the Y works fine, and the Kilmarnock parking lot works fine. What we did do, the SIM card was not working great at Beulah Baptist Church, but what he did do is put in one of the wireless units for the church, so they have fixed wireless, which is running very well for them. And the idea now is just to set up outdoor Wi-Fi there, so that pole right now can serve as a light, but eventually we'll have to make a decision where we want to move it. And that decision will be at the end of the year. We're trying to get a standardized sheet each month on the data. We want to know, A, the bandwidth that's being used, how many gigabits. We want to know how many users are using it to give us a feel on what's going on. And we just have not gotten that yet, and we're pushing to get that. Correct, Nick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we really want to know not just how much bandwidth goes through there, but how many discrete users are using it. So we get a good idea. Is it one person downloading a whole bunch of movies, or is it a bunch of people doing multiple tasks?
So,
And we did APB. Any other updates, Nicholas?
Nope, that's it for me right now.
Okay. All right, anything else for this session, Gary?
no.
All right. Do you have anything else for the open session? Nicholas, Cherie, anything else for the open session? Oh,
Not for me.
No, nothing for me.
all right, Chuck, all right. Chuck's going to make a comment. You have to get up here.
I believe John asked for a contact for those customers that are denied service. How will we get that information? I think Nicholas said we go back to BTS. That is not the way the process should work. Someone has to manage BTS. If they're not delivering the service, then someone either on this authority or the county has to get involved and make them meet the terms and the conditions of the contract. So who is that?
All right, you're saying if at your house, any citizen who thinks they're going to be in that area for service, if they have they been told that they're not going to be, or they just haven't, no contact?
I've been told that they cannot provide me service.
BTS
There's
has told you this?
BTS, and there's 3 or 4 other homes in that area have been told they cannot provide service.
And the reason being?
So,
The trees.
The trees.
Madam,
Yes.
Chairwoman, Mr. Rusdiak, I understand your frustration. And the LCBA is managing this contract based on the terms of the contract. But the ICS provider, BTS, is the provider of the services. And if Atlantic Broadband or All Points Broadband or Broadband Telecom Services or Cox or Comcast or Verizon does not deliver or cannot deliver service, the option of any individual customer is to pursue first with the company, and if they feel that they're not being treated consistent with the regulations that attach to those companies, which vary, they need to pursue complaints with the Federal Communications Commission, with the Federal Trade Commission. But I think what's most important, and I hope that you understand, that the LCBA is exercising its responsibility to find ways to get broadband internet access to the citizens of Lancaster County. It pursued funding through the CARES Act to obtain customer premises equipment, entered into an agreement with BTS, and BTS committed that it would be able to serve 300 residents. It didn't identify which residents. It said 300 residents within a certain radius. We too are disappointed that the cost was incurred for equipment for 300 customers, and only approximately, correct me if I'm wrong, Nicholas, 75 customers have been served so far with that equipment. However, the provider has to deliver the service. The authority could take draconian steps and claim that their contract has been breached if it has, but currently the BTS arrangement is providing service to 74 residential households that didn't have it before. The equipment has been purchased. The hope of the LCBA is to manage this, which we are. We don't put everything and every conversation regarding the management of the contracts on the website to ensure that at least, at a minimum, the 300 customers can be served. However, things do happen. All providers in the marketplace, including Verizon, specifically state before all regulatory bodies, they provide services to the extent that facilities and technology exist. And we understand that there is a tree problem and other issues, and we are working on it. But we can't, the LCBA cannot be in a position of managing every single consumer complaint regarding ICS providers in the marketplace. That's not what we're charged with. What we've done instead is we've stepped in and we brought somebody into the market sooner than otherwise would be here. And then the federal government and the state government has offered funding so that Atlantic Broadband is increasing its footprint. All Points Broadband is increasing its footprint. The LCBA is working actively with all providers in the Lancaster County area to bring service to the citizens as quickly as possible. But this early venture with BTS is proving less fruitful or more slowly to produce fruit than we had anticipated, and clearly as they had anticipated. So we ask you to bear with us. We assure you that we are doing everything possible, and we are acting on your behalf. We are corresponding with BTS regularly, and we're going to continue to manage that contract the best that we can for everybody's benefit, including the 74 customers that are currently being served by BTS.
Well, I guess I have a difference of opinion. I see a contract that was negotiated through the federal funding that's supposed to be the benefit of the citizens of Lancaster County. That contract was negotiated, and I realize it wasn't the clearest transfer of responsibility to the LCBA, but that contract is signed by the LCBA, and the conditions of the contract are very clear. Who they're supposed to serve, how they're supposed to serve, what speeds they're supposed to provide. And that's not happening, and it hasn't happened The last update we had, it was going to be July 2nd. Well, here it is October, and they have 75 customers. We talk about 75 customers that didn't have service before. Well, I'm not sure that's a correct statement, because many of the customers that they're showing that have CARES Act service had previous service from different suppliers. So it's not 75 new customers that have that service. Secondly, I use this as an example when I've shared some information with you about this. We have one customer in our community, Steve Wunchin, who's been trying to get service for 6 months, numerous calls, and the latest, he was supposed to have service last week. They didn't show up. He called, they set it for today, for Monday, I'm sorry. They set the service for Monday. They didn't show up. Then they said they'd be back today. They didn't show up. Now, that's not service. A customer shouldn't have to go through that. There should be conditions that they have to meet. And it's not up to each individual customer who doesn't have service to go to the FCC to get service when we have a contract. The county has a contract, the LCBA has a contract with the supplier, and if he's not meeting the conditions, it's not up to each individual customer to try to get him to meet the conditions. It's up to the contract person, meaning the LCBA, to make that happen. We're not asking you, if my service was installed and my service wasn't working, and it was because of a modem problem or something like that, I wouldn't expect you to take care of that. But when a whole community goes out and 15 or 20 people are out continually for a week, then I do think that's LCBA responsibility. So.
Okay. Thank you for your comments.
Anything else? Okay, that ends the open session for this meeting. We'll go into a closed session.